What's up, it's your boy Domuto. We back with another video. Today we are watching UnrealEntGaming. And we're watching Beyond Dragon Ball Super Vegeta enters into the Mirror Realm. Grand Priest assembles the new stage. Alright, I'm ready to check this out. The Mirror Realm. I remember that from the original top 5 strongest that Goku went in. So we're gonna see what's up with that. And make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. And I think the next one. Hold on, I'm trying to think. Hold on. Oh yeah, I'm gonna combine not the next one, but the one after that. So there's 23 minutes, and the other one's like the 7th one's like 29 minutes. So I'm gonna combine those two, so I'll be like 1 or 2 behind. That is being like 3 or 4 behind. All right, thank you.
As our story now continues, following the initial events within the tournament realm, as the Grand Priest went on to sense a mysterious yet very unsettling force being felt from outside of the multiverse, to which it was only upon with the Omni Kings being shown mesmerized by the size of the stage while the Grand Priest went on to ponder as to what this force was that he had felt, was when the Grand Priest then went on to respond, "I can't help but shake this feeling on what that was that I had just sensed, for it was a surge of darkness and a power so foreign, but yet so intense and so faint that it felt as though it was coming from far beyond the edges of our own reality," the Grand Priest continues. "For this is not something that I can just go and simply ignore, for whatever that was just now, it was powerful enough for it to be felt from across the multiverse, but yet it also felt as though it had originated from outside of it. For I must understand as to what this is, where it came from, and more importantly, to go and find out on whether it poses a threat to our existence or not, given the nature and the force behind what that was. For the Omni Kings must not find out before I do, as their responses could be impulsive, driven by fear or anger upon finding out, which could ultimately lead in having to spell disaster for all of us, which is why they must now find out before me," the Grand Priest continues. "However, there is that chance that perhaps this was nothing but a mere anomaly in the cosmic fabric of existence, but even if it was, there was something about it that felt familiar in a way, which is really starting to bother me because I can't quite put my finger as to why that is. For it almost feels as though I have felt this energy before, but I can't make out as to where, for I cannot afford to dismiss it entirely," the Grand Priest adds. "But I must go and tread carefully, for the Omni King's desires for this upcoming tournament are extremely paramount, lest they are to be angered in any sort of way, and so I must be careful with how I handle this in order to make sure that the Omni Kings are not disturbed by this in the meantime, as they must go and be catered to at all times to ensure that the event unfolds exactly as they wish," the Grand Priest continues. "But I still cannot afford to let this unexplained surge go unchecked either, or it could end up posing a major threat to the very balance that we are striving to also maintain. As whatever this was, I must go and investigate quietly so that nothing disrupts the preparation of the second tournament of power in the meantime, and while the Omni Kings are very eager to have this omniversal tournament of power be waged under their watchful eye while having full control over it, the last thing that we need is for the Omni Kings to become unsettled over this unexplained energy, as the 12 existing universes are but a small fraction of the infinite tapestry that is of the Omniverse, where there are even realms out there that exist that even I have yet to fully explore without proper approval by the Omni Kings, and so, because of this fact, they could go as far as to potentially harbor places where darkness could hide and grow unchecked, and so I must find the time to investigate this anomaly quietly and discreetly without having to draw unwanted attention in the meantime." But then, it was only from out of nowhere, with both of the Omni Kings having to notice that the Grand Priest was seemingly unsettled, was when both of the Omni Kings then went on to respond, "Hey, are you okay, Grand Minister? Something seems to be bothering you because your entire mood has changed, and so is everything okay with you?" "Changed? Oh no, there is nothing that is bothering me whatsoever, sires," the Grand Priest responds, "as I was only thinking about what to go and include next that'll go along with our newly developed stage, and so I do humbly apologize if I have concerned you both by any chance, but if you wish for me to go and continue with the event's design, then whatever it is that you wish to have included or removed will be for me to follow through on, and so what is it that you wish for me to go and do, sires?" with the present Omni King responding, "Well, actually, I have an idea that we should go and include, because because it does look a little empty down there, and so this is what I think we should go and do, with the future Omni King quickly chiming back in. Oh yeah, and do make sure to also go and tell him everything, so that way we can go and have everything come out exactly as we hoped that we would, with the present Omni King then responding. Yeah, you bet. And so for starters, you should go and create our throne area where all three of us are seated together with the top 5 strongest warriors in the multiverse sitting right there next to us too. And we want it to be done right over there, and so we're hoping that you can go and make that, with the future Omni King then responding. Yeah, and what we also want is a spectator area that curves around the ring on both sides, so that way we could have special fighters be seated while the event is shown taking place. Well, very well then, sires, for I will hereby conduct a throne area for us to watch as the tournament unfolds. The Grand Priest went on to then stick his arm out by responding, along with going as far as to add additional seating for the 4 strongest, including warriors whom you would wish to go and join us for this upcoming event. And so now if you would give me just a minute here for me to go and spawn them in here, and there we are now, the Grand Priest continues. For all that is left now for me to go and create would be the seating area for all the remaining 4 strongest in the multiverse, but thus far, I do hope that you both like what I've created for you thus far, as I do also hope that it is to your very liking, sires, with both of the Omni Kings responding. Whoa, it looks so cool! Is that really made for us along with the spectators of our choosing, with the Grand Priest responding? Well, it certainly is, and if you both wish to go and test these seats out for yourselves, then by all means you may go and choose to do so if you wish, sires. To which it was only then within that very moment, as both Omni Kings went on to observe the entirety of the arena, was when the Grand Priest then went on to say to himself, good, and so now while the Omni Kings are off exploring the stage and marveling at the arena that I have constructed for them, their joy is very essential, for I must continue to make sure that everything is perfect for the upcoming tournament. However, that strange anomaly still lingers within me, and so while I complete the preparations for the Omniversal Tournament of Power 2, I must go and find the time to investigate this anomaly in secret, for if this turns out to be some kind of a threat, then I must find a way to neutralize it before the Omni Kings become aware, the Grand Priest continues, for they are very unpredictable, and if they sense a disturbance, then it could lead to chaos, and so I must be cautious, deliberate, and thorough, for this is a delicate balance and one that I must maintain with the utmost care without them even knowing.
Yeah,
to
Grand
which
Priest,
all the while, when then
don't
venturing
scare
back
him.
on over into Universe 7, we only just then happened to oversee as Whis was beginning to repair Beerus's planet, with Beerus beginning to scald both Goku and Vegeta, as Beerus then went on to quickly shout, do the two of you realize on what you've done and nearly went on to do here? For not only have you managed to destroy my entire planet, but you nearly brought the universe to its knees along the way, and for what? A brief scrimmage and a reckless display of power with no thought to the consequences behind them. Oh, for this is all your fault, Goku, for you are the worst offender between you two, you know that? And for you to go and unleash your dragon cannon with such recklessness and with no thought to the destruction that it may cause makes me want to go and punch you in your stupid looking face, Saiyan. As you went on to nearly annihilate all of us, Beerus then went on to continue, for the entire universe was on the brink of collapse because of your stupidity, as I should go and destroy you now for your insolence, but know this, Goku, for you are the only one that carries the weight of this despair, with Goku responding, gosh, well, I'm sorry, Lord Beerus, you know that I never intended on trying to destroy your entire planet, or let alone go and put the entire universe at risk with my attack. Oh, you're sorry now, aren't you? Oh, you've got some nerve, you. And all done, my Lord, Whis went on to then quickly chime in, for I wouldn't want to go and get too worked up here if I were you, because it would be better instead to put all of that energy into more of a productive approach, beginning of course by having to grade them both on how they performed against one another. And so I'll go first and briefly go over what I saw, Lord Beerus. And so I'll begin with you, Vegeta, for while your battle against Goku was a great testament to your power along with your resolve while wielding your mastered Ultra Ego transformation, Whis says, it unfortunately also highlighted some weaknesses about it as well, for I sensed a great deal of anger within you, anger that, while enhancing your strength, also clouded your focus in battle as well, and it's better if you are made aware of it so that way you can go and improve, for you see, your rage had driven you to underestimate Goku in battle and to see him less than a threat than what he actually was, and this, I'm afraid, was a critical error, Whis continues, and one that had allowed for Goku to ultimately find the openings that he needed and capitalize capitalize on your mistakes. So by allowing for your anger to go and take control, you lost sight of what Lord Beerus had been telling you, for you must learn to maintain your focus and to use your anger as a tool and not as a crutch. For you should never underestimate anybody, even if you find yourself as being the one who is in complete control for within that moment. But now as for you, Goku, Whis went on to then point out to Goku by then responding, while your mastery of your Primal Ultra Instinct level is impressive when compared to how you were shown wielding it before, there are still areas where you must improve on if you wish to truly harness its full potential. For I noticed that during your battle with Vegeta that you were holding back not just physically but also mentally as well, Whis continues. For you had went and allowed for yourself to be swayed by your emotions, excited by the thought of battling your longtime rival again, that you went on to give Vegeta too many opportunities to attack you, rather than of course maintaining the purity of Ultra Instinct's core principle, which of course is the complete detachment from emotional interference, and in doing so, Whis continues, you went on to compromise the true effectiveness of this transformation, despite with you having to unleash your Dragon Cannon, as Vegeta was able to hold it in place, with Goku then having to question, well, I won't say that I didn't allow for my excitement to go and get the better of my judgment, since I really wanted to go and see as to what Vegeta's mastered Ultra Ego power was capable of against my Primal Ultra Instinct level, but I guess I did hold a bit of my power back in hopes of trying to get more out of Vegeta, since, well, I couldn't really go and use my angel form against him since it was against the rules, but, well, I'm really trying to think to see if there was anything else, because Vegeta did happen to get the better of me a few times when I least expected it, so he did go on to get me pretty good too, so maybe I was a little too worried about the time that we had, since of course we knew that we didn't have much of it, so I was trying to figure out of a way on how to balance our battle, without of course having to go all out with Vegeta from the very beginning of all of this, and so I'm trying to think, with Vegeta responding, so I knew that you would, for you went and held back what you truly intended on using, only so that you can try and gauge me further whilst measuring your potential next to mine, didn't you? And so you went and panicked, and so do you see? He didn't go all out and use everything that he had against me because he knew that deep down that without that angel form in his pockets, he couldn't have possibly held out against my destroyer form and defeat me in the long haul, and he knows it. As I refuse to be seen as inferior to Kakarot's primal power when I know that my potential whilst wielding my destroyer form easily goes on to far surpass his own, and so the balance tips in his favor unless I were to go and find an evolution of my own that will only go as far as to match his, with Beerus then questioning, to find another evolution you say? Is that so now, Vegeta? Well, while I find your case to be made against Goku to be a valid one, what exactly is it that you're suggesting here? With Whis chiming in, well, how very interesting, but I'm not really surprised by your ambitions to go and try to do so, and because of this, what are you trying to say here then, Vegeta? Cause we're listening, with Vegeta responding, well, what I'm saying here is that I know that there's gotta be a level that goes far beyond the one that I currently wield while at my strongest, but how do I evolve myself beyond what I am now is the question. For what methods do I need to go and follow in order for me to access the next level of power? Because I know that there must be something beyond it.
There gotta be something.
And while I refuse to walk down the same path that Kakarot had taken, Vegeta continues, this goes far above him, because even if I am able to go far above Kakarot's power, then there's always the Grand Priest, and that it almost feels as though it'll be impossible for me to go and rival, but I still have to go and try, and I won't stop trying until I am able to find it, Vegeta continues. And so while I know that I had Kakarot right where I wanted him, since I know that for a fact he couldn't have been able to outlast me, especially when it came down to enduring the most punishments, I must go and try to find the answers that'll guide me towards where I need to go and be, with Beerus then having to look over by questioning, oh, I know that look that I see on your face more than anyone, and so what are you thinking about there, Whis? For I don't like it. And so now hurry it up and cough it out, with Whis having to then suggest, well, I indeed do, and so how about I go and propose an alternative that I believe would surely come in handy for you both in the long run. And now even though this may come as a sudden and shocking surprise to everyone, Whis went on to then continue, but what I think that we should go and do is I propose that we momentarily switch students for just half an hour, as during this time I will go and take Vegeta under my guidance guidance while you, Lord Beerus, go and take Goku under yours. And of
Why half
course,
an hour?
once we
Whole
do,
day.
the idea here is not to go and undermine the progress that we have already made under their respective mentors, but to go and provide them with an additional perspective that could help them unlock new facets to their already newly discovered powers, and also allowing for them not only to improve in certain areas that may call for our attention, but once we are done teaching them, Whis continues, could we only from that point then go as far as to resume their original training under their proper teacher that each of them were previously shown having to be appointed to? And so what do you think? As Goku then went on to quickly shout, wait, say what now? A momentary switch for us to go and swap teachers for just about half an hour? Is he serious? Vegeta went on to then question, but would that really go as far as to make a difference if we did? As an infuriated Beerus then went on to quickly respond, are you crazy? What is wrong with you people here today? And just what makes you think that I'd even want to go and help that idiot Goku in the first place, Whis? He's your responsibility, not mine. Well, not for nothing, Lord Beerus, but you did go on to mention on how you've always wanted to go and have your rematch with Goku once he would grow to become strong enough to face you, and well, I think that we can both agree that he is far more than ready at the moment, wouldn't you say? Oh, well, I suppose 30 minutes wouldn't go and cost us much of anything, Vegeta responds, especially if it means of having to learn of new ways of how to already strengthen our current levels of power, whilst also following two entirely separate paths, and so this could work out for the better in the long run, if anything, with Goku responding, yeah, well, I guess there wouldn't be any harm in getting the chance to see if I could also tap into more of my destructive side and seeing if Lord Beerus can help me manage and come up with a method for me to refine my attacks like how he was shown able to do for Vegeta, but I guess it'll be tricky, with Beerus responding, you do understand that this was not what I originally had in mind, didn't you, Whis? Because I'd rather starve than help that Goku out with anything, and you know it deep down, with Whis responding, nor so you say, my lord, but I'll go and be the first one to start then, as I want you to listen very closely to what I'm about to say, Vegeta, for within a matter of moments I will be sending you off into a place called the Mirror Realm, where I will need for you to go and seek out the Elder Sage and see what you can learn upon having him show you the path that you are currently on, which will lead you down the road to your inevitable future, Whis continues. And as I went on to send Goku into this realm once before, and so now it is your turn to see what you can go and discover, with Vegeta responding, the Mirror Realm, and what am I supposed to do while looking for this so-called sage? Stare at mirrors, with Goku responding, hey, yeah, and I remember going into that realm once before, and it's a pretty freaky looking place, that much I can tell you, Vegeta. Well, actually, you'd be quite surprised if you do, Whis went on to then respond, but what I will say is that if you are able to locate the Elder Sage from within, then he will be the perfect person to guide you into seeing what your future will be shaped like, but only if you have the wisdom to look past your mortality and just take a little bit of a closer look within. And so while you're inside, do try and focus your mind on not just on what you'll be seeing coming through your reflection, but do try and however focus your spirit in paying very close attention to every word that the Elder Sage tells you, so that way you can truly see on what the future has in store for you, Vegeta, Whis continues. And so with that being said, you should go and take your leave now while the portal into this realm is opened, as Vegeta went on to proceed towards the portal by having to then turn around by addressing Goku and responding, Kakarot, you better start counting your lucky days while you still can, because once I come back, not only will I be armed with the necessary knowledge and power to crush your primal ultra instinct once and for all, but don't think that your angel form will be beyond my reach either, for I promise you this, I will go on to find a way to match it in battle, and as soon as I do, then you will know on who the strongest between us will truly be, so go and keep that in mind. Well, alright then, Vegeta, and so I hope that you're able to find what you're looking for while
Goku
you're
don't be
in there.
talking shit,
Goku
bro.
responds upon Vegeta being shown having to step on through. Oh, and try not to go and get on that Elder Sage's bad side either, because from what I can remember, he could be a little grumpy to try and speak with, but then it was suddenly from out of nowhere, before Goku could even go as far as to finish his sentence, was when Beerus went on to quickly interrupt by responding, and you ought to be more worried about yourself here more than you should with Vegeta, Saiyan, as Whis went on to then chime back in, And so now with Goku all that's left, do you have anything in mind that you would like to go and show our student here, my lord? With Beerus responding, oh, don't you ever in your life go and refer to this idiot as my student, Whis. I will only go and mentor one, and lucky for me, he's not one of them. But since we are already on this subject, I do have one thing to go and address with you, and that's how is it that someone as calm and kind-hearted as yourself could possibly be able to wield a destroyer's ability to use the Hakai? Oh, and don't you go and act dumb with me either, Saiyan. You stole it from me, remember? Against that fallen Kaioshin from the 10th, Zamasu, was it? Yes. For you had went and tried using it on his fusion in the future timeline, but failed. And so how did you do it? With Goku responding, oh wow, you still remember that, Lord Beerus? But that was like a bajillion years ago, and so no, I didn't mean to. Oh, you thought that
it's
you
crazy
could
how
just
strong
go
they
and
became
steal my
since
techniques
the
and
Goku
figured
Black
that I
art.
wouldn't go and say anything now, did you? Well, there you
nigga
go.
Beerus got
That's
smoked for
your
that nigga.
problem, Saiyan, for even while you bear the ability to destroy, when up against an enemy that calls for it, you always somehow go and find a way to give them the benefit of the doubt, now don't you? Wait, but surely you're not saying that I should have just went and tried to use that move on Vegeta and Hakai him now, are you, Lord Beerus? Oh no, you idiot, because then I would have Hakai'd you for Hakai'ing Vegeta, Saiyan, as Whis went on to then chime back in. Oh dear, well maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all, since those two seem to be already going back and forth and arguing already. Well, I guess the only thing that we have to do now is wait and see if this actually goes anywhere or not then. To which it was only then during this time, as Vegeta was finally now shown having to enter inside of the mirror realm and having to behold this dimension for himself, was when Vegeta then went on to quickly respond, so this is the mirror realm. The air here, it's different.
It's different.
Heavier
Your
somehow,
body's different.
as if it
You're
carries the
moving
weight of 1,000 battles that have been won and lost, as the atmosphere here feels nothing like it does back in Universe 7, for it feels like something else entirely, something otherworldly, and these power levels that I'm sensing all around me, for I can feel their vibration, but at the same time, they also seem to be coming from within. But how is that possible, Vegeta questions? What is this place? For I've never felt anything like the sensation that I'm feeling like this before, for it's almost as if each power level that I'm sensing is a reflection of myself, as it almost feels like these are different vibrations and versions of my own strength that I feel all around me. But what does it mean? What in the... That's me as a child, Vegeta went on to then turn by having to notice his younger self in the mirror. How is it possible that I am able to look into the reflection of my younger self, with my younger self having to look right back at me like this? But yes, now I understand. These mirrors, this world, it's supposed to show me the events of my life like this, as even now, while I stare into a time that is now long gone, I remember that face, for those eyes filled with fire and hunger to prove myself to everyone who had ever doubted me, for it almost feels strange having to see myself like this and having to be reminded of where I once was. But even now, I couldn't have been any prouder to have come as far as I did from where I once started. But then, it was only just upon with Vegeta being shown having to turn right around and noticing another version of himself when he was younger during the Saiyan invasion, was when Vegeta then went on to respond, and speaking of being reminded of my past, then there was this, a reflection of myself from the days on Earth when I first had went and arrived with Nappa. For I remember that time so clearly, as I had always felt as though I had a chip on my shoulder and thinking that I was unbeatable, until the day where I came across Kakarot. For he had challenged everything that I believed in and showed me that my arrogance was nothing more than a liability, Vegeta continues. For that battle had went on to change my life forever, and I was right to move beyond what I thought was right at the time. But even now, how could I forget when my back was up against the wall during the tournament of power, and with no other way out and with no other way of pushing through, I was forced to evolve myself beyond the standard norms of what it meant to wield Super Saiyan Blue, and had only from there obtained an evolution that would finally rival Kakarot's Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken at the time. But then there was this one, Vegeta went on to then turn towards another mirror by seeing his Majin self in the reflection. The darkest side of my very soul, and the one that I tried so hard to bury, the face of the Majin Saiyan, a side of me that was so ruthless and so violent that it can only ever be compared to how I am now.
I mean, you were more violent as a
mastered Ultra Ego form, but even then, I was merely
as a regular
just a pawn
Saiyan
within a much bigger game
Scouter
compared to
Vegeta.
now, where I hover above the gods at my
kill more people than Scouter
absolute
Vegeta.
best. As it was this very darkness that had nearly went on to consume me, Vegeta continues, and when looking back, how glad I am that it hadn't, because if it did, then where would I be if I had continued to serve as a pawn, Vegeta questions? For my very destiny would have ultimately have led me to the grave if it did, but now that I have full control over the monster that slumbered from within, all I need to go and do now is just find another way to evolve it, just like I did before. But what's this? For I have never seen myself wielding a form that looks anything like the one that I see here before. That fur and that radiating primal aura, Vegeta continues, for I can feel the power emanating from it being strong and fierce, but although it doesn't match the strength that I currently possess now, Vegeta continues, as I appear to be much stronger than what it is that I see in this reflection, but still, just what kind of timeline does this happen to just come from? Because it certainly doesn't come from my own. And so therefore, if it doesn't, Vegeta went on to then tap on the glass by responding, then where exactly does this version of me come from? And more importantly, are just what kind of events have led to this strange transformation, Vegeta questions? For I need to know more, and I must try to understand on what this reflection is trying to show me, and especially if I am looking to further evolve my mastered Ultra Ego powers. But then, it was only just suddenly from out of nowhere behind Vegeta, before Vegeta could even understand as to what was happening, was when the Elder Sage went on to creep up behind Vegeta by then responding, whatever curiosity that may set you apart from those whom wish to never want to know, only makes me want to hereby ask the question on just what exactly would a mortal warrior such as yourself be so curious about that they would find themselves wandering into my domain like this? For let me go and take a guess. Did Universe 7's Angel Whis go and put you up to this, Saiyan? What the? And just who the hell are you, and where the hell did you just come from? And how are you able to get so close without me being able to sense your presence, Vegeta asks. Answer me, you wretched old man. For I didn't come into this realm to play any sort of games here either, and so I demand answers. Now where is this so-called Elder Sage that I kept hearing so much about, Vegeta went on to then further ask. And you better start talking, because if you're trying to play any sort of trick on me, just know that I'll be having none of it. And so now tell me who you are and where I can go and find this sage so that I can acquire the answers to the questions that I have. As the Elder Sage went on to then respond, foolish Saiyan, you demand to know where I am, yet you do not see that I am standing right here in front of you, for I am the Elder Sage, and you are within my domain. For it would only seem as though you are far more aggressive than the last mortal that Whis had decided to go and throw into my dimension, but alas, now that you are here, I think I know on exactly what it is that you are looking for. As a surprise, Vegeta went on to then respond, wait, so you're the Elder Sage? So you're the guardian of this realm that I was sent here to see? And how do you know on what it is that I am looking for when I haven't even told you? With the Elder Sage responding, because you are as curious as the one who came before you that went by the name of Son Goku, and so I know exactly as to why you're here. And if you are anything like the previous Saiyan was upon coming here, the Elder Sage continues, then you are likely seeking answers to the questions that you have about your evolution, do you not? For what you see and what it was that you saw aren't just mere reflections of your appearance, but they are windows into the deepest parts of your very souls, Saiyan. For they go on to reveal both your past past, your present, and if you are wise enough, your future as well, the Elder Sage continues, as each mirror acts as a gateway and a portal that reflects on not just what is on the surface, but the very essence of who you are deep within. But while you are here, and based on what I can see, my question then becomes more about if you have the courage to face on what they show, or on whether or not you will continue to lash out blindly while clouded by your own anger and frustrations to see beyond
Vegeta.
your rage, the Elder Sage continues, as I can already see that you are nothing like the Saiyan mortal who came before you a long time ago, which I also find very interesting when looking at how different you both appear to be from the surface. However, since you were already sent here with a purpose that is similar to the warrior who came before you, let us proceed and carry on with these questions and see if you have the wisdom within to unlock the answers that you came here looking for, as it was only right then and there now during that moment where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super Story of the Omniverse, the official top 5 Strongest Warriors in the Multiverse sequel, manga chapter number 4 special, then comes to a close.
Shout out to Vegeta for this. Shout out to Vegeta. Shout out to UnrealEntGaming for this video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. This was a good video. I ain't gonna lie. I can't wait to see the next one. See what Vegeta actually sees. And I'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace.